Hello, everybody. As per plan, we're just going this live sessions on Beat the Corona. Basically, the basic theme of this session is to, make more awareness about the Corona, so that we can help each other in this era of crisis. There are a lot of questions about corona, that's how to beat it, how to do it properly. So basically, we know many of the things, but some of the things we may not know. So as a result, I thought a little by little, we just go the sessions according to the NHS policies and guidelines, specifically for kids, but care are also involved in their care. So for that reason, we also want to award them this. That is my effort, is to just try about it and just make everybody aware what to do in this. I think it will be quite a few days of problem that we will face, that it will be staying with us, and it will be maybe a significant different ways. It will be a little bit of, always it is our problem. Now we have to face it, and we can do it together. So if we know the guidelines and what are the things we need to do when there is specifically what the things we must think about, then it will make our things more easier. So I will go through that things. In the first session, I go through the basic, the symptoms and signs and things like that. Today, I will be going about the testing of the corona, and also if we test positive, what are the things we have to think about. All these things I want to mention in today. So hopefully, that will help you all. So I'm just going to tell you today some of the things the parents needs to do about that, when to test this. So now just there is a letter, very nice letter written by government of UK to parents and the guardians about when to book your child for a that corona testing. I think that definitely we need to know that, so that we can help our children's nicely about corona, when to book the session for the corona. So letter of the parents and guardian that our UK government is very specifically give that guidelines when just have to test about the COVID. So every time if it is very important to know when we ask for the test, because if you ask if the corona test inappropriately, then you can miss out, and an opportunity to a person who really need the test, he may not get the test. So for that reason, it is important that we know when we should ask for the test, and we must accordingly proceed. So that is the first of all, we have to think what are the things when we only have to, you have to book a test if a child has any of the following coronavirus symptoms. Number one is high temperature. So any new high temperature where your child feels hot to touch on the chest and back. It may not be you need to just measure the temperature with the thermometer. It is not. But if you feel your child is hot to touch in front and the back, that is one of the things that very important. Then second thing is that a new continuous onset of coughing a lot, means coughing for more than 1 hour, or 3 or more coughing bouts. That is you have to know that coughing bouts are there, and they are really very important, that this coughing bouts is for 1 hour, and or more, 3 or more coughing episode in 24 hours, or a loss or change of the sense of smell or taste, that is, or a noticeable loss of smell of taste, or a thing smell and taste different to normal. So and your child does not need a test if they have runny nose or sneezing or feeling unwell, but do not have a temperature, cough, a loss of a change in sense of smell or taste, because these are not normally symptoms of coronavirus. So they have some of the symptoms, but that is not associated with temperature or a lot of cough that I already mentioned, or change in the sense of smell or taste, that not indicate actually the coronavirus. So that time you may not think about the test. It is not necessary to test on that situation. And if anything that you're not sure whether I will need the test for my child, you think you are puzzled about it. So there is, you can also check NHS website that I already discussed last time. You can check it and open the NHS website, and you can check about the symptoms where that you will be very worried, and you can ask for the that test things. So in this way you have to judge, and accordingly you have to so only the person with symptoms should get a test, and you do not need to get a test for anyone else in the household unless they have any of these 3 symptoms that is listed. Okay, so that is, I told already: high temperature, no continuous cough, coughing a lot for more than an hour, or 3 or more coughing episode in 24 hours. So now if the person with symptom test becomes positive, other members have to household should continue self-isolate for 14 days and only get the test if they develop again that 3 symptoms. You have to, very importantly, that 3 symptoms that I mentioned, that is high temperature or feeling hot in the chest or back, or if you think that coughing continuously and there is a loss of taste sensation, or or also smell sensation that is lost. So all these things have to be keep in mind when you requesting for a test. So that is the main thing they told that like that. So if the person I told you, if the people, a student in a class or a bubble, test is positive for coronavirus, anyone who is advised to self-isolate does not require a test unless they subsequently develop any symptoms. So only the test is required for the symptomatic, not that you don't have symptoms and doing the test. It is not desirable, because we run out of the kits when it is not needed and we want a test. So basically, no one else in the same class or bubble as the symptomatic person needs to take any action unless advised by the school or college. And school and college have detailed guidelines. So you don't have to think here about what I need to do if anyone in the school is positive or things. They have the detailed guidelines and they will tell you what to do on that situation. Contacts of the person who have test positive must follow the guidance and stay home for 14 days. Okay, so this is because it can take several days following contact with an infected person before an individual can develop the symptoms or virus can be detected. And student should only book a test if they get symptom. So it is quite clear in different ways and aspect, that is that you can see, that is we are just not needing the test, but we just want that when symptoms develop, then only there is a very clear cut indication how you just have to think about it, and you have to do the testing. Now another thing that I have to mention about the testing today, I'm just going to basically about the testing. So there is a very, very confusion what the test and what the test results means to you. So that is a very clear cut NHS, website. They told a very clear cut that can be 3 type of this result, and usually they will give you by text or email your test result if you have a test, or if you use the NHS COVID-19 app, you may also get your result in the app. Most people get their result the next day, but it can take up to 3 days. if you do not get your result by day 6, then you have to call Coronavirus Testing Contact Center on 119 for the England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And there is a separate number for Scotland also. And the contact center usually open from 7 a.m. in the morning until it opens until 11 p.m. And 3 types of result you can get, either negative, positive, or unclear, or borderline, anything like that. So if you had a test because you have syndrome, and you and anyone, you must stay home until you get your result. And anyone in the support bubble must also stay at home until you get your result if you have been in close contact with them since your symptoms started or during the 48 hours before they started. Now, a negative test result. So, negative test result means test did not find coronavirus. You do not need to self-isolate it if your test is negative. As long as everyone you live with has symptoms, test is negative. So if anyone else has the symptom, they also need the test, and their test results also has to be negative. Everyone in the support bubble who has symptom also test negative. And you are not told to self isolate 14 days by the NHS test and trace what to do. If you've been told to self isolate, you know that you have to at least 14 days you have to stay inside, and you have not traveled to the UK from a place with a high coronavirus. So that is another thing you have to keep. But if you get a positive result, means you have coronavirus when that test is done, and that time you have to self isolate immediately. If you had a test because you had symptom, self-isolate for at least 10 days from when your symptoms started. And if you had a test but had not had symptom, self-isolate for 10 days from when you had that test. So it is quite clear that when the positive test result is there, then you have to self-isolate. Now, if it is very unclear what is the result, inconclusive, that means it is very difficult that whether you have coronavirus or not. If you had the test because you had symptom, you must keep self-isolating, have another test within 8 days of your symptoms starting, in case of England, Northern Ireland, and within 5 days of symptoms starting in case of Scotland and Wales. If you're not able to have another test, then you have to self-isolate for at least 10 days from, from when your symptoms started. And anyone you live with and anyone in your support bubble must self-isolate for 14 days. So if you had a test but have no symptom, you do not need to self-isolate while waiting for another test. So people you live or anyone in your support bubble do not need to self-isolate. And if you need any advice about, I already mentioned, you have in the NHS online 111 online service, you can use it anytime and call 999. If I have given that last session very clear, that chart or poster where you can see everything clearly written what you need to do. So please follow those. And of course, there are a lot of support here to support if there is anything needed for you. So don't hesitate to use them, but don't overuse them when that is not needed. That is very clearly mentioned. So I think next time I will like to tell about more about the vulnerable people like elderly person when leave suddenly the children's they got that coronavirus positive, how to separate them. In that case, I will try to mention them in the next session. Hope this step by step we will be clarifying all our doubt on. And if you have any questions particularly, you can mention in my below my session. I would like to answer them. So today we clarified about the test. Next session, I would like to tell how to, deal with when we are living in a same house, a person is coronavirus positive, how to live there, how to take precaution for that. All these things I will be discussing in the next session. Hopefully in this way, little by little, we will make us about coronavirus, how to, take precaution, how to fight with it. Thanking you for listening with me. Bye bye. See you again next week.